When I was around 10 or 11 years old, my mom rented the VHS tape of the movie Splash. I fell in love with that movie. And somehow, more than 40 years later, I still think about parts of that movie. There was something just magical about watching Madison, played by Daryl Hannah, experience New York City with this wide-eyed, almost childlike wonder. And of course, there was the gorgeous long blonde hair, which, side note, it's probably part of the reason I still love long blonde hair, even though mine isn't technically blonde anymore. But that doesn't matter. There are just so many things about that movie that completely mesmerized me. Definitely the mermaid tail. And yes, I did put salt in the bathtub when I was a little girl, trying to change my legs into a tail. But most definitely the biggest was Bloomingdale's. I can still picture that scene, the music playing in the background, and Madison walking into the store wearing Alan's suit, who is played by Tom Hanks, her love interest in the movie. I mean, the whole reason she was in New York City to begin with. But she walks through this extremely busy cosmetic department, and there's people everywhere. And you can even see the Estee Lauder and Clinique counters in the background, fragrance, and just the glamour of it all. And for young Hilary, this looked like a dream. That scene is the epitome of what shopping was like in the mid-'80s in Bloomingdale's. And this downtown gorgeous store in the cosmetic department, it was alive. Beauty advisors behind counters, people getting their makeup done, and associates helping customers, shopping bags everywhere. This hustle and bustle you could just feel through the television. And imagine all of that in New York City, Bloomingdale's. I mean, come on, total fantasy. I love the part where Madison meets this wonderful woman, this sales associate, who helps her. This amazing salesperson, stylist, she doesn't make her feel uncomfortable or out of place. She just helps her. I just love that. And then Madison coming out wearing that gorgeous outfit and that long, gorgeous blonde hair flowing behind it. I mean, forget it. I was sold. I wanted the hair. I wanted New York City. And I most definitely wanted to go to Bloomingdale's. It's been a part of New York City for more than 150 years. It has done so much for New York, introducing designers and turning a simple brown shopping bag into pop culture, featured in movies and television, and for generations of people like me who didn't grow up in New York City. Movies like Splash gave us our first glimpse inside. So today, I want to go back to New York City, to the big brown bag, and talk about Bloomingdale's. Welcome to another episode of Sorry, It's Discontinued, a podcast about the reality of retail, the people who keep it going, and the stores and brands we all love because we want them to stick around. And I'm Hilary, and thank you for being here with me. So today we are talking about one of the most iconic department stores in American retail history, Bloomingdale's. Or as many people affectionately call it, Bloomies. Let's get into it. Sorry. It's discontinued. So the Bloomingdale's story actually begins with, which I had no clue. Most of these episodes, I'm going to say it, I had no clue because I never researched any of it until I'm doing the episode. And I was kind of blown away, knowing that this store started so long ago, and it actually begins with something that sounds very 19th century, the hoop skirt. So we are talking about those huge skirts you see in old photographs where you wonder how the women actually made it through the doors. But before Bloomingdale's became the store that we know today, brothers Lyman and Joseph Bloomingdale, they were involved in their family's ladies' notions shop, mouthful, in New York. Their father, Benjamin Bloomingdale, mouthful, he had immigrated to America from Europe, and the family was already in the clothing business. And one of the things the brothers became known for selling was the hoop skirt, which had, of course, become incredibly fashionable in the mid-1800s. But the brothers recognized that fashion was changing and American women were interested in the latest European styles. This was kind of happening all over the place. I mean, we know this was happening in Dallas, Texas, and everything was shifting. And of course, it was happening in New York. And what was changing in Europe was the way people shopped. In Paris, Le Bon Marché. Yes, Marché. I know. I spoke about Le Bon Marché in my Le Bon Marché episode where I mispronounced Le Bon Marché over and over again. But anyway, so we know in Paris, things were transforming and shopping experiences were starting to happen where instead of visiting just one store with one thing, customers could find many different types of merchandise under one roof. Fashion, accessories, household goods. Everything was displayed in beautiful surroundings. And shopping was becoming more than an errand. You run in, grab what you need, but it was an experience. And so the brothers, Lyman and Joseph, they decided to open the Great East Side Bazaar on 3rd Avenue in New York City. And rather than specializing in one type of merchandise, not just the hoop skirts, they brought together a wide variety of fashions, including European styles, so customers could discover different things together all in one place. This was becoming the thing. And Bloomingdale's was becoming part of this new era of department stores. And then in 1886, the brothers moved the business uptown to 59th Street and 3rd Avenue. New York was expanding northward and Bloomingdale's grew right along with it. The store expanded into neighboring buildings until by the 1920s, Bloomingdale's occupied an entire city block. What had begun with this family, their dad moving from Europe, and the two brothers just selling some hoop skirts, became a New York institution. But Bloomingdale's, it was about to become much more than a place to shop. Because the store, it discovered something that would become a huge part of its identity. Shopping could actually become entertainment. Love this part of the story because similar to some of the stores in Europe, I don't know, maybe Le Bon Marché, I don't know if really Neiman Marcus did this as well this early, but Bloomingdale's started to see that people needed a reason to come into a store besides just buying something. They wanted to start creating elaborate environments that transported shoppers somewhere else. So by the 30s, they were actually recreating inspirations about Paris, international displays, art. They started elevating their designs, creating beautiful windows. So I guess, yes, at this time, Le Bon Marché and Neiman's, and I'm sure Saks, they were elevating the experiences for the customers. But Bloomingdale's, they were hosting gala events, fashion shows, which, yes, the other stores were doing. But they were using music for these fashion shows and lighting and theatrical presentation. I mean, this was really a new way of doing things. So the store was a stage and the customer was a part of the audience, and shopping became entertainment. Bloomingdale's was doing this generations ago. Then they took it even further. In 1959, they began staging elaborate international exhibitions. One of the first celebrated Italy, and later exhibitions, they celebrated countries and cultures, including France, India, China, Spain, Portugal, Japan. But Bloomingdale's simply wasn't putting products on a bunch of tables. They were literally creating the environments inspired by these places with the food, with the music, with the art and fashion, decor. So a display, it actually recreated a Parisian street. Can you imagine? Another incorporated an imported Chinese casino. So you're walking in to Bloomingdale's to go shopping, and you're discovering an entire floor was basically transformed into another country. You weren't just shopping, you were traveling. And this is where Bloomingdale's started becoming something bigger than a store. It became entertainment that took you on a destination. Now, I just love pop culture. And I do find movies and television and things that are so nostalgic. It's just so sentimental for me. I think it just takes me back to moments in my life and childhood. And I love the Bloomingdale's by the 60s and 70s. It became so influential in fashion. The store gave very important early opportunities to designers who would eventually become big names. And Bloomingdale's became known for recognizing these designers early on. There was Ralph Lauren, who started out designing neckties before Bloomingdale's gave him his own in-store boutique. Perry Ellis, who helped redefine American sportswear in the 70s and 80s. And Norma Kamali, who could take something as ordinary as sweatshirt material or even a sleeping bag and turn this into fashion. She was also the one who famously designed Farrah Fawcett's bathing suit in her infamous poster. I love her story. Norma Kamali is so inspiring. And Bloomingdale's was helping introduce shoppers to these designers who eventually became a part of American fashion history. I find this so fascinating too, that Bloomingdale's helped pioneer the shop within a shop idea, allowing individual designers and brands to create their own little worlds inside the department store, which is so cool. Because if you look at, of course, Neiman's or Saks or Nordstrom's, their layout's a little bit different, but walking into these stores, the bigger department stores, and you're seeing these small boutiques inside these larger stores, it's a shop within a shop. And Bloomingdale's helped pioneer that, allowing these individual designers to create their own little worlds inside the department store. Now, focusing on the 70s, this is the Bloomingdale's, well, one of the times that I wish I could travel back in time to visit, because people were starting to call it Bloomies. Young shoppers flooded the store on weekends, and celebrities came, socialites were there, tourists, and people went there to shop, but they were meeting people and wanted to see what was happening and visit with each other. Bloomingdale says that at the height of this era, around 60,000 young people could visit during a weekend. That's a lot of energy. That is a lot of makeup. That's a lot of clothes with music and restaurants and people trying on shoes and friends meeting each other and discovering a new designer they'd never heard of. Someone buying a new handbag. This was shopping on a whole other level. Yes, Bloomies. Yes. Yes, please. I would love that. Just to imagine walking through the stores in the 70s. I mean, if you think about each decade and the change in the fashions, going from the 30s. Oh my gosh. I mean, you just keep going, like the 20s and the flapper era and then the 30s. And these department stores were there at that time. That's amazing. Think of all of the designs and fashion that have walked through these buildings. So if you were a fly on the wall and happened to live over 150 years, well, I mean, the store wasn't there, but it wasn't technically there until what year was it? I already forgot what year. Was that 1879? 1879. Oh, so 72. And then 86, the brothers moved to 59th Street. So 1886. And it is now 2026. Okay, who's good at quick math? Because I am not. So what's that? 114 plus 26. So 140 years at the same location, even though Bloomingdale's had been around because they'd been doing their thing since forever when their dad moved from Europe. But that's incredible. I just think that's so dreamy. Am I the only one? Because, wow, all the different styles of shoes. Okay. So anyway, I mean, it just is so fascinating to me. And it is still there and it is going strong, y'all. And it's a part of Macy's. It's not going anywhere. I mean, Bloomingdale's. Ugh. Let's all go. Let's just go right now. Thinking about Bloomingdale's and the history of this store, we have to talk about the brown paper bag and how it launched into fashion and became an accessory. This bag. In the 60s, Bloomingdale's had already begun commissioning artists to create shopping bag designs. And some became collectibles. If anybody has some, they've got too many and they just want to let them go, I would gladly help you out. But in 1973 came the famous big brown bag. And its origin is just so simple. And I love it. The linen department needed a bag big enough to hold things like pillows and blankets, and legendary graphic designer Massimo Vignelli created the design. Brown craft paper, simple lettering, and big brown bag. What? I mean, that's just it. People loved it. And then came the little brown bag and then the medium brown bag. Suddenly, the packaging, it was part of the purchase. So people carried that bag around Manhattan and everybody knew where you'd been. Before posting a shopping trip on Instagram or TikTok or wherever, you had your bag and that's how everybody knew. That's how you posted, y'all. The bag was the post. It said, hey, I was shopping in Bloomingdale's. And that connection between shopping and identity, it helped Bloomingdale's become something that entertainment loved. And you instantly knew what it was. Bloomingdale's looked like a movie version of a New York City department store. So television and movies, they could add it into the mix. It elevated scenes and it became part of films, including Manhattan, of course, Splash, Serendipity. Oh, it's so good. I love that movie. And later productions about the fashion world, such as Halston. And meanwhile, that brown bag, it showed up on television, on Friends, Sex and the City. In the store, it got advertisement and publicity just because of the bag. The bag did the work. It was a character. A character walks through the door carrying a Bloomingdale's brown bag, and you know what's happening. She's been shopping. You just imagine it. She's in New York City. She likes fashion. She likes to treat herself and maybe spend a little too much money. But that's okay. It's all right. That prop tells a story before the character even speaks, which now we need to go back to the beginning of this episode with me talking about Splash, because this is where Bloomingdale's became real to me. I was a young, sweet girl with a vast imagination. Even though I was a tomboy, I was always climbing trees, running through the forest, just doing things I shouldn't be doing things alone a lot of the time. But I had such a vast imagination. And the movie, it fed it. The movie, it was filmed partly on location in New York, and the production, it actually filmed at the Bloomingdale's flagship at 59th Street. And when Madison arrives and walks into that store, she learns everything she needs in Bloomingdale's. I love that. She basically learns how to speak from watching TV all day in Bloomingdale's in their TV and electronics department. I mean, Bloomingdale's is part of her whole transformation. This mermaid enters this beautiful department store, and suddenly she's experiencing this strange human world of shopping. And I just loved it. It was magical. This movie, it showed me a place that maybe I had never been, but that I could dream of going to. And at this point, Bloomingdale's, this was in 1984 when the Splash movie came out. Bloomingdale's had become so recognizable that movies and television could use it as a New York landmark, like the Statue of Liberty or Central Park, Empire State Building, a yellow taxi, Tiffany, Macy's, Bergdorf's, and Bloomingdale's. So the connection to entertainment wasn't limited to just that screen. And beginning around the 90s, the store also hosted Broadway performances that supported Broadway Cares, Equity Fights AIDS. And over the years, the productions that were represented included Cabaret, The Lion King, Hairspray, Rent, Wicked. So you could literally walk into Bloomingdale's and go shopping and encounter performers from Broadway. And Bloomingdale's connection and relationship to the art world was vast too. Artists, illustrators, photographers, all creating artwork for the store's shopping bags and turning something as simple as packaging into something people really wanted. And one of the people who seemed to understand this combination of shopping and fashion, art and culture was Andy Warhol. Bloomingdale's says Warhol once described the store as the new kind of museum for the 80s. And when you look at its history, you can understand why. It has huge pop culture, all of it connected to one department store. Now, you can't highlight a department store without highlighting the people that are keeping it going every day. I say it all the time. And that's the people who work there. The visual teams creating those incredible windows, the buyers who are discovering merchandise. If you look at their website right now, It's pretty incredible. They have so many designers that they're adding into the mix, young designers, new designers, and designers that have been around. It's inspiring. It shows that they are really relevant. Bloomingdale's is not going anywhere. And think about the beauty advisors or stylists and all the associates that are helping all these people. I am sure that there are sales associates that are still at that store that have probably been there for decades. Think about all that they've seen, the thousands of people behind the scenes that have helped create this amazing Bloomingdale experience and history. It wasn't just about the two guys. It wasn't the fact that Macy's bought and took over Bloomingdale's. It's the people who work behind the counter, who work in the back of house, who work in security that keep these stores going, including Bloomingdale's. So we might look back and become very nostalgic, like I do all the time, about these beautiful department stores, and we remember the buildings. We remember the merchandise and the fancy shopping bag. But we have to remember the amazing people who are helping us while we are there. Shopping used to feel like an event, and I really think it still should. Go get dressed up, meet a friend for lunch, walk through cosmetics, smell the perfume, try on a lipstick. If you don't want to put it on because of sanitary reasons, you could put it on the back of your hand. You don't want to put it on your hand, put it on a tissue. You can play. If an associate doesn't seem friendly, go to the next one. There is guaranteed to be somebody there who really wants to take care of you. If you smile and they smile back and they are genuinely kind, that's who you want to shop with. Try something on. Carry your shopping bags around. How fun. I know everybody's scared to do it right now because of security or safety, and people are just go in with an attitude. If you have to have a plan, I get it. But maybe carry the shopping bag around for an hour and then pop it into your Target bag. I don't know. But create an experience, because that's what retail and these amazing department stores are here for. They are here for all of us. And when I think about Bloomingdale's, yes, I go to Splash. I think about Madison walking into that store. I think about that young girl watching this movie on a VHS tape, thinking about luxury shopping at 11 years old. Stores like Bloomingdale's, they're not just places where things are sold. They are a part of our lives, and they are fantastic. And I am thankful that Bloomies is still here today as part of Macy's Inc. family. I am so glad it is. And if you get a chance, go check one out. Go to the flagship or even the outlet. Now, before we go, I have to highlight my discontinued product of the week, except this week, it's actually not discontinued anymore. Might not be the same, but this one is for my fellow 80s and 90s ladies and boys. Do you remember Dewberry perfume oil from the Body Shop? Body Shop. Oh my gosh. So it originally launched in 88 and became one of those fragrances a lot of us remember. It was extremely popular. It was a little bottle of perfume oil, and it was like fruity and floral. Well, it completely disappeared and was discontinued in 2002, and it's been gone for more than 20 years. But guess what? They brought it back. The Body Shop brought it back in 2026, just recently for its 50th anniversary, because the Body Shop, they're not discontinued. Oh, they are still here. I love stores that are still here, and we love them. And they brought back the perfume oil. There's Dewberry body butter, shower gel, body yogurt, and a fragrance mist. And I love it because I know we want to go back and we want it to be exact. But they listened, y'all. And I appreciate it. This is a great way this week for a little self-love. Very simple. Pamper yourself. Use the body butter. Go get some perfume oil. Or just take a long, hot shower. Maybe not so hot because it's so hot outside. Maybe a long, medium to cool, not too hot shower. But wear a fragrance that makes you happy. It's that little thing that makes you feel good. Give yourself permission to enjoy it because you deserve it. You truly deserve it. And I love and I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Sorry, It's Discontinued. I just appreciate you so much for taking time and spending time with me on this little trip back to Bloomingdale's. And I really appreciate you. So don't forget to shop your local stores, shop with your local sales associates, give them a call if you can't make it in the store. That's fine. Whether you're behind the counter or in front of it, don't forget to smile. And I'll see you next time. Okay. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to Sorry, It's Discontinued, the podcast that brings you the reality of retail and the people, brands, stores, and products we all love. If you enjoyed today's episode, hit follow, leave a review, or share it with a fellow retail warrior. You can always connect with me or support the show at sorryitsdiscontinued.com or buymeacoffee.com/sorrypodcast. Now, this podcast is independently produced and not sponsored by any brand, company, or organization. All views, opinions, and personal stories shared are their own and do not represent any retailer or brand mentioned. Brand names, product references, and service mentions are included for storytelling and commentary purposes only. But I thank you so much for sitting with me today. And remember, continue to shop in store, support your local stores and your local sales associates. You can even call them and order. It's amazing. And every visit helps keep these stores open so we can all continue enjoying real in-person retail therapy. And I'll see you next time. I appreciate you so much. Bye. Sorry. It's discontinued.